Now we're going to hear from the Divinity Code guys talking about some keys of the kingdom.
Thanks, Pam. We're going to continue on with the subject of angels. And, you know, it's very, very interesting, this subject. A lot of people ask questions about this, but we're going to share some testimonies. But Adrian, why don't you kick it off with some revelation?
You know, there is a revelatory angel, you know, we know from the book of Revelation and John's Revelation. But when we were in America, maybe a year, 2 years ago, we were doing some conferences with on dream interpretation, the Divinity Code conference, and we were in Northern Carolina, and there were certain coloured lights that were caught up on camera. And then we moved to Wichita, Kansas, and in Wichita, Kansas, a young girl gave a testimony after we were speaking that there were coloured orbs following us around as we were ministering, and she said that there were angels in the meeting, and she was pointing to sitting on the ceiling fans in the meeting hall, and so she gave testimony to the fact that she was seeing angels as we were ministering. So what we were doing was we were ministering and interpreting. There's an actual photograph of me interpreting a dream with an orb above my head, and so revelatory angels give us the insight to understand what God's saying.
So a week before that, it's caught on camera. So it's very interesting, isn't it, Adrian? So there's also resurrection angels. Now, I've travelled the world, and this is probably hard to comprehend, but you can raise the dead. Jesus had authority to raise the dead. He was God with skin on, but he's given us the baton. When he ascended to heaven, he said, you have authority to overcome the world, because I've had authority to overcome the world. I've actually been in a meeting where the dead was raised, and I've seen it. And there are resurrection angels. Matthew 28, there was an angel that came down before the resurrection of Christ, and it rolled the stone away and sat on the stone, and there was an earthquake right before that, and Jesus rose from the dead. So resurrection angels, I like to have a few of them around. What did you say?
I reckon. I was in that meeting, Adam, when the ambulance guys, what do you call them, the paramedics came in, and they didn't know who they were meant to revive because their bodies were all over the floor.
Yeah, the power of God hit the whole place. People were lying on the floor, and the ambulance driver rocked up and said, which one's the dead one? It's pretty funny. But what happened was that there was a woman dead in the meeting, and God raised her back from the dead, and she had an encounter with Jesus. And we're really excited about this. This is probably doing your grid. It's probably challenging your mind, but this is real. God does raise the dead, and you actually see YouTube clips of people in news articles coming back from the dead.
Just start to acknowledge the fact that you probably have an angel, and that God wants to harness you working with your angels.
So get excited. You do have an angel. In the book of Acts, Peter the apostle, when he was in prison, released from prison, he knocked on the disciples' doors, and they said it must be his angel, because they thought he was in prison. So there's an angel that actually looks like you.